Hello and welcome back to the Weekend Sugar. This episode, we are going to make our first ever cupcake on the Weekend Sugar. I call this my chocolate Beehive Cupcakes with caramel filling. Let's get started. So we need a big bowl for this because we're gonna do all the whisking, which is a whisk and with our hands. So get a big bowl with a attach a sieve to it, and then we're gonna sift in our flour. And then from that flour that we sifted in, we are gonna add about half a cup of flour to our chocolate chips. We do this so that when we add our chocolate chips later on into our cupcake casings, it would not drop down into the bottom of our casings, and it would just distribute all over the cupcake. So this is a very nice technique to take note. Let's set it aside and let's continue mixing the rest of our dry ingredients. So I'm adding my cocoa powder, my salt, and my baking soda in there, then my sugar, and then sift it all together. Just give this a little mix to combine them, then set them aside. And then next, we are gonna mix together our wet ingredients. I have here cold coffee, buttermilk, vegetable oil, and 1.5 eggs. I'm just gonna give them a head start by mixing them together so that when I mix them with the dry ingredients, it wouldn't take too much whisking, because when you're making cupcake batters, you don't want to overly mix them, just so that you will have a soft and moist cupcake afterwards. So I added my wet to my dry ingredients and then give them a little whisk until no specks of flour can be seen. And then I'm gonna add in those chocolate chips with flour on my batter. Then give this another good mix a lot, and we're done with our cupcake batter. That's it. Do not overmix. Just as long as you don't see any more of those specks of flour shining through, it means that it's done. I am gonna line my cupcake tin with just transparent white cupcake casings, and then I'm gonna pour in my batter into them. I transferred my chocolate batter into a liquid measuring cup just so that I do not spill everywhere while I pour it, and then with just a spatula catch all those chocolate drippings and put them back in the jug, just like so. Once you're done with that, pop it into your oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes or less, depending on your oven. While that's baking, let's make our marshmallow meringue. So I have here 3 eggs, and I am gonna harvest 3 egg whites from them, and I love using this technique, which I call the 3-bowl technique, to crack my eggs. So the middle cup will catch all the egg whites in action, and then on the left side it will catch all my yolks. And then once I'm done cracking the eggs from the whites, I'm gonna pour in those whites to the right side bowl. And then I'm gonna do this again, making sure that I'm cracking it in the middle bowl, so that if ever I catch any egg yellows on my bowl right there, it's not gonna affect the whole batch, and I could just sift it out of there rather easily. Because you guys, when you're making meringue, make sure that no yellow or dust comes in contact with your meringue, so that it will whip to the perfect consistency. So I have here a metal bowl. I need to use a metal bowl or any heat-proof bowl because we're gonna do a bain-marie or a double broiler. So you want something that will not burn while you are simmering it up. And then I'm just gonna pour in all my marshmallow meringue ingredients. So I'm gonna pour in my 3 large egg whites, granulated sugar, 2 tablespoons of water, my corn syrup, or if you don't have that, golden syrup, cream of tartar, and salt, and then about a teaspoon of vanilla. And then on a simmering pot of water, I'm gonna pop my meringue ingredients up there, my metal pan up there, and then with a mixer, I'm gonna turn it into high speed and just whip this up until it forms stiff peaks. So this might take about 5 to 10 minutes, depending how good your mixer is and how strong you are. But mine, I think, took about 10 minutes or so. Just keep on whipping until you get this type of consistency. So when I whip it, as you can see, and then after that, I'm just gonna take it off the heat and then whip it for about a minute more, just to make sure all the sugar crystals just gets dissolved all throughout the mixture. So look at those. We have stiff peaks, which is what we are looking for. And then once my cupcakes have cooled, I'm just gonna get a chopstick, just like so, or any stick, and I'm just gonna pierce through the middle of my cupcake and just wiggle it around so that I can form a crevice inside, because we are gonna fill them with some caramel filling. You can use any caramel that you like, and I have my own caramel recipe on my blog. The link is down below. Once you filled all them up with caramel, it's ready to pipe them into our cupcakes. So I use a large piping bag, and I use a fairly large tip, about a centimeter round tip. And then what I'm gonna do is squeeze it in the middle, wiggle it around until I reach the circumference that I want, and then pipe it up. And I want to get those circular swirls on my cupcake, because we want it to look like a beehive, so it's important to have those swirls around them, just like so. So squeeze and then wiggle it around and get those beehive shapes up, and then pull. Stop squeezing, then pull it up automatically. So you can get as high as you want. It depends on you. Then I'm just gonna transfer this lovely cupcakes into a cupcake tin, and then I'm gonna put them in the fridge to chill for about 30 minutes or so. It's important to keep them very chilled, because we are gonna dip them in this chocolate mixture that we are gonna make. So we have to make sure that they are super chilled up. Then again, with the bain-marie or the double broiler method, I'm gonna melt some chopped chocolates I have here. I'm using semi-sweet chocolate. Half of it is semi-sweet and then half of it is Belgian chocolate, but you can use any type of chocolate that you want. If you think semi-sweet is a little bit too sweet for you, then you can use dark, but I love semi-sweet for this one, just the right amount of sweetness. Then I'm gonna add 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil into that chocolate, and I'm gonna continue mixing it until they dissolve and they form this creamy chocolate syrup. I'm gonna transfer them into a container that is high enough so that when I dip my cupcakes in there, it's gonna cover the entirety of it. So I chose this liquid measuring cup to do the job. So some of these cupcakes have chilled now for 30 minutes or more. I think I'm gonna chill the others for more time, just to make sure that my cupcakes retain their shape while I dip them. So just dip them into your chocolate and let the excess drip off. Then after dipping them all in, you're gonna put them back in the fridge and let them chill for about 2 hours or more, just so that the chocolate can harden. So once your chocolate has diminished a bit, because you've taken a lot of them out while you're dipping the others, you can also do this method. Just get a spatula and then slowly pour that chocolate into your cupcake, just like so. Make sure that you got them all coated up, and make sure that you're doing this while your chocolate has cooled off, because you don't want to melt that meringue up. So once your chocolate has finished melting, you want to cool them off for about 20 minutes or so, just so that your meringue will not melt while you pour them into them. So this is how they look like when you cut into them. You cannot really see that caramel filling, so maybe add more of it if you want more of that caramel flavor. But guys, they're so delicious. I love the whole process and idea behind them, that the meringue is just this, they balances out the sweetness of the coating of the chocolate and the cupcake base itself. I love this chocolate so much. In fact, I'm gonna give this to some of my friends who I think would love chocolate cupcakes so much. So if you want to get the recipe for this chocolate beehive cupcakes with caramel filling and with marshmallow meringue icing, then you can visit theweekendsugar.com. The link is down below. If you want to see more videos, then don't forget to subscribe. It's absolutely free. If you want to see my previous video, click on that picture you see on the screen. And I'll see you next time. Bye!